Shalom Akim, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Hakakadash, Barakatam, double honors and salutations to the elders and apostles of Great Stone, the Akim Aquat throughout the four corners of the earth, throughout the four corners of the earth, holding on in sincerity and truth to the gospel of Lord Mashiach Yahushai in these days and times, with diligence of mind. Shalom, shalom, shalom. This is Brother Menashe DC Camp. Another lesson for the hopeful elect. Yeah, so we're just gonna go through the topic of turmoil upon the face of the earth, the topic of war. All right. So when you go into the history, you see that the majority of the wars that took place, that had taken place on the face of the earth, has always been from the house of Shem. All right. The more you look into it, you just figure out that, God damn, the house of Shem, the house of Shem has always been the majority, to be taking part in all the wars upon the face of the earth, all right? So you could see, you could look at the list even before this. I'm using two different sites. I'm using the list of wars. Uh, you go on Britannica.com, go on your Google engine, Google search engine, you could look in the wars and all that stuff. You look in the scriptures, the majority of the wars always involved the nations that come from the line of Shem. All right. So we're just gonna go into the book of Genesis. I'm gonna read verse 1. I'm gonna jump to the main verses. Genesis 10 and 1. Now these are the generations of the son of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were sons born after the flood. All right. So now we look upon the blue letter dictionary part just to get the meaning of the name Shem. The meaning of the meaning of the name Shem. So you see that right there. So that's something we all have to pay attention to, man. All right, every nation from the line of Shem has always been engaged in battle. You're looking for a reputation, all right, to be in authority, all right. But you know how it is, man. The Lord has already reserved that spot, rulership of the earth, for the nation of Israel, all right, the nation of Israel under the authority of the Lord Mashiach Yahushai, all right. And it's just one of those things you're gonna notice, man, all right. So it says what Shem, he is the what? The elder son of Noah and the progenitor of the Shemitic tribes, all right. So now when you look in the list of all the wars, you could see even before this, it's always something that you have to consider, all right. So before the 11th century, you have a list. You can look at all the lists of all the wars that have been fought upon the face of the earth. Before the times of Hamashiach Yahushai, it's always involved the house of Shem, the nations that come from the line of Shem. All right, and you could just look through it, man. You can look through it, whether Ishmael is involved or Ram or Elam, it's always in there, man. All right. Now you look at this one. You see Egypt, Libya. This was before All right, this is before what you call it, the Ishmaelites took over. All right, so let's see. Right, yeah. So the more you dig into it, you see that majority of the wars involve Shem. All right, just it's just a long read. You could always look through it, man. All right. The more you look at it, the more you notice a pattern. It's always of the land of Shem, of the house of Shem. All right, bear with me for that short correction. Yeah, man. So it's always Shem, because the Babylonians, the Assyrians, are also from the line of Shem. You also have the Persians, they're also from the line of Shem. Even the so-called Greek, all right, so-called Greeks, are also from the line of Shem. So yeah, so they're all looking for a reputation, man. To be in authority. So I'll get straight to the point. When you read Genesis 10 and 22, see what it says. The children of Shem, Elam, Ashur, Arphaxad, and Lod, and Aram. All right. So majority of the conflict upon the face of the earth has always involved all these nations, man. All right. All these nations. And when you look at the scripture that talks about the statue that Nebuchadnezzar had in his dream, you could see it's a complete representation of the house of Shem. All right, starting from the Assyrians slash Babylonians all the way down to the Romans. It's always the main components were always from the house of Shem. All right. So you see that. Now look at verse 23. And the children of Aram, Uz, and Hol, and Gitar, and Mash, and Arphaxad begat Salah, and Salah begat Eber, and Eber born, and unto Eber were born two sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided, and his brother's name was Joktan. All right. So the further more, further down you go and look at all the names, man, you understand what the world has been going through. All right. Now, it's just conflict, man. The spirit of conflict has always been something for us to always study. When you study conflict and you understand what nations are involved, or as by the scriptures, you know that the descendants of Shem have always been in contention, man. All right, and that's just the issue. Just like Abraham, he had to compete. Not just to compete with Ham, but also compete with the other nations too. All right. So yeah, the earth is a place of conflict, man. There is no peace upon the face of the earth. Ever since the fall of Adam, the earth has been in complete turmoil. All right. So we go to the book of Genesis, chapter 6. We're going to read verse 5 to 7. And Yahweh saw the wickedness of man, right? And Yahweh saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. All right. Yep. And that's something that the Lord has always made known, that the heart, is inherently wicked. you know, the heart is wicked and deceptive, man. All right. It's always bent towards evil. And then verse 6, Genesis 6 and 6, and repented the Lord Yahweh that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. All right. Yeah, so the Lord was upset. That's why the Lord had to bring judgment. Verse 7 says, And the Lord Yahweh said, I will destroy man, whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repented me that I have made them. Yeah. So just the wrath of the Lord that has to come upon the face of the earth. All right. So you just look at all the lists of the wars, man. Assyria, Amorites, and Babylon, Assyrian civil war. You could go on YouTube and look at videos about the wars. That the Assyrians had to fight. Right? You could look at the one that the Trojans were involved in. Look about the one between Hannibal and the Roman Empire, the Trojan Wars. You know, even the war between the Babylonians and the Persians, all that stuff, man. The Greeks and the Babylonians, like the Persians. Yep. Even the Maccabees, Maccabean revolts against the so-called Greek Empire. All right. Yeah. So Syria, all that stuff, man. All that, all that. Yeah. So the Hamites were also involved in wars too. All right. The Hamites were involved. All right. But all in all, you already know that majority of the wars upon the face of the earth has always involved the house of Shem. All right. That's just what it is. You can't ignore that fact. And that's what it is, man. Even Esau's wars across the whole earth has always been against, you know, majority of his wars will be against the Shemites, all right, the children of Shem. Shem against Shemites. So, like, divided and all that stuff. So, just build by folly, all right. Yeah, so it's just what it is, man. You look as much as you can into all this, man. You realize that whew, this is just some serious stuff, man. That's why we need peace. We need the Prince of Peace to return and deliver us from this chaotic environment. All right. So we go to the book of Job, Job chapter 33, and read verse 15. It says, In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men in slumberings upon the bed, then he, that is the Most High Yahweh, Bashim Kakadash, openeth the ears of men and sealeth their instruction. So all these wars that are being fought upon the face of the earth is basically the Lord setting up the stage for the Lord Amashiach Yahweh Shai to make his final return and depose all the powers of the earth. All right. So the Lord has to organize the heathen, to do what they do and to show his power. All right. And then verse 17 says that he may withdraw man from his purpose and hide pride from man. So that's just what the Lord has to do. The Lord has to put into play the path of correction. All right. So these wars that are being fought upon the face of the earth, they are necessary. This is what the Lord has put in place. All right, to bring about the final solution. All right, the final solution to to bringing order back to the earth. So he has to allow the heathen to to slug it out among themselves. Right? Yeah, they have to slug it out, and then the Lord will have to bring the final, the final verdict. All right. So that's just what it is. You know, that's just what it is. They get their chance to exercise their act in war, the act of war, all that stuff. Yeah. So, what do you think is going to happen when the Lord Amashaki Shai returns? So you can always look at the list over and over and over and over. It's just so much. All right. Greco-Persian wars, the Latin wars. All right. The Persian invasion of Greece. Yeah, you can't even study all this stuff, man. You gotta be selective when you're studying history. You can't put your all to know all about these wars, man. It's gonna take you forever. All you gotta do is just take what you need and see how it fits with prophecy. All right. Yeah, the first Peloponnesian Wars, the rebellion of Anarus II. All right, the Persian. All right, against the Egyptians. All right, the Samian War, the Peloponnesian War. All right. Yeah, so you're always going to see exactly what these wars are all about. Yeah, furthermore, you scroll down, all right, the Macedonian Wars, all right, the rise of Macedon, all right, the time of the Lord preparing Alexander to get up in there, his father and all that stuff, all right. Yeah, so it's a good thing that the Lord is, set up the stage, all right, the wars of Alexander the Great, all right, the Persian Empire, the Paulavas, all this, man, you know, all this. And then you have the wars between the generals, of Alexander the Great. They were fighting among themselves. All right, yeah. So that's just what it is. You're gonna see that around here. All right. So the more you look, the Syrian wars. All right, right here. Yeah. So the Ptolemaic wars and all that stuff. Ptolemy and the Seleucid dynasty. Yeah, just fighting against each other. The Punic Wars also. All right, that's Jake going against Rome. All right, and I believe you also have the other nations on the side of Jake. This is the time of Hannibal. All right, around this generation. Yeah, so the more you look, you understand that the world has always been in battles. So you have the children of Moab, the King Dynasty. All right, the Han Dynasty, all that stuff, man. Got Jake's up in there too. Conquest of Zao. Yeah, so it's always the house of Shem, right? Always the house of Shem. Even when you had the so-called Japanese going against the Chinese, it's also part of the history. It's part of prophecy. So it's always the house of Shem that's where involved. That's involved in the majority of the wars upon the face of the earth. Now you go to the AD. You know, Anno Domini, the years of the Lord. All right, you can look as much as you can. It's just so much. Yeah, so much you can always look into, man. Trojan Wars, right before the time of Lord Amashaki Shai. Yeah, yeah, so much. Yeah, so many wars that you have to, you know, be aware of. All right, you can't study everything, the details of everything. You just have to understand exactly what happened. Yeah, so much, so many wars. All right, so 1700s to 1800s. Okay, now let's look at the one for the American Revolution, right there, 1775 to 1783. All right, yeah, and then you have the French Revolution. So before the American Revolution, you had the French Indian Wars. All right, so this was basically the Lord setting up the stage for America to be in total control under the Brits. The Lord had to set it up that way. So that's how 1776 came into play. And the Lord let Esau have his way, man. All right, that's just what it is. The Mexican American War, 1846 to 48. Yeah, so it's so much you can look into, man. The Red River Indian War. You see that? Uprising, 1874 to 1875. That was not too long ago. Yeah, so it's just what it is, man. Yeah, yeah, man. So that's just what happens, man. The troubles between the tribes, man. And then Esau's also involved in it. So it's always the house of Shem. It's always turmoil. The world is in confusion. That spirit of Babylon is heavy upon the face of the earth, and the Lord has to get rid of it. That's why this gospel is being preached throughout the four corners of the earth. So let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 24. Yeah, it's not something you can just ignore, but you just have to understand what you're dealing with. As long as you're on the face of the earth, there's certain things you're supposed to be aware of. All right. So Matthew 24 and 6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So this scripture right there has been has let people know that all these wars had to take place, man, but the end is not yet. All right, yeah, the wars have to take place, and when all is said and done, then there'll be peace on earth. All right, so you can see that, man. See, Jake, the Jewish revolt against Constantius Gallus. All right, so Jake revolted, man. Our forefathers. You get tired of oppression, taxation without representation, and all that stuff, man. So you understand, man, that the Lord has allowed the nations, man, to have their way, but the world is in total mess. Yeah, the world is in total disarray. That's why the Lord and Mashiach Yahushua has to return, okay, to set things back in order. Now we go to another precept from the book of Revelation. Look at verse chapter 9. Revelation chapter 9, and look at verse 12. It says what? One woe is past, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter. See, so that's just what you have to know. So this is World War One. Revelation chapter 9, we're dealing with World War One. All right. And that's what you have to be aware of, man. The Germans, man, going against the so-called other nations, the other European nations, as if France and the British or whatever, So this just shows you, man, that you have to be aware of what's going on. All right, so let me switch over. Let's look at World War One. All right, so we're gonna look at this right there. See that? See this? Right? Look at that chart. World conflict deaths. So around World War One, see the maximum. So they said around between 4 million and 5 million. So just say about 4.5 million people died during World War One, and in World War Two, it's a lot. Conflict catalog. It's so much, man. So much. It's a lot. Yeah, man. It's a lot. A lot of people lost their lives, man. during the time of World War II. All right. Yeah, it just shows you, man, that it's a mess. The casualties of wars, man, it's just so much, so much. All right. Now, you could start from 1900 to 1905. The British, going against Japhet, Northern Borneo. All right. Yep. Yeah, man. That's what happens, man. You know, that's what happens. So now you got Esau against Ham, right? So that involves Shem. So you can look, you see that War of the Golden Stool. This is something you also have to look into, man. That's a very, very important one. All right. So this is Esau against Benjamin in Ghana. All right. Yep. That's just what it is, man. That's just what it is. Yep. So yeah, you look at them as much as you can. So let's just jump to World War One. Right here, 1914, I believe. Yeah, you can scroll down. So like it for this long lesson, but it's just something short that we can take a look into. All right. All right. So here we go. Getting close, getting closer. Okay. You got Albania, Albanian revolt of 1911, the Ottoman Empire. Yeah, so the Turks, yeah, the Turks, man, you know, pushed to Albania, pushed to Romania, whatever, all those areas, man. Yeah, see, all that stuff. Italian Turkish War, Kingdom of Italy, 1911, 1912. All right. So this is how the Lord sets up the stage for the return of the Lord Amashak Yahushai. All right. Yep. So you can see this, man. Uprisings, wars and wars and wars and wars and wars. Yeah, so you can look, just take a look, man. That's just how jacked up it is. Now you see this, 1914 to 1918, World War One. So you have the Allied powers. All this, all this. Germany, German Empire. All right. So that's the old flag of Germany. Austrian, Hungarian Empire. They have the Ottoman Turks, Bulgaria. So this is how Esau plays the game, man. You know, this is what happened in the house of Shem. See, Japan is even up in there too. All right, China's even up in there too. Oh boy, man, it's hilarious. Then look at this one, part of the Banana Wars. United States versus Mexico. So these wars, basically for the rich, you know, to maintain power. All right. It's about empire. It's about you know some group of individuals that want to be in authority. They have to control trade, commerce, or whatever they want to call it. Okay. So much you can look into, man. Yeah. Let me just hurry up and get back to business. So look at Revelation chapter 11 and 14. What does it say? The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. So this is the time we're living in now, right? Waiting on that World War III to become in full effect. Okay, we already see the madness over there, between the so-called Palestinians and the so-called Israelis, all right? So the Lord is going to let that stuff continue to fester, you know, build up that vibration of war. Okay, so it's getting there, man. You walk around the places in America, man, even in Europe, you just see people spray painting free Gaza. Yeah, so it's just part of the journey that you have to be aware of, man. So look at the book of Daniel, chapter 4. All right, let me read verse 17. It says what? This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth over it the basest of men. Okay, so this is just what it is, man. So when you read the book of Daniel, chapter 2, it shows you that the Lord put Esau at the bottom. The 10 toes, man, put him at the bottom. All right, the 10 toes of iron and sand, you know, iron and sand. So let's see. I move further back. Daniel chapter 2, 38 to 34. You could read it. This is just a informational lesson. All right. Yeah, the king's dream. All right. So the Lord Amashak Yahushai has to destroy the authority of the heathen upon the face of the earth. So the Lord is not just coming to take down Esau's kingdom. He's coming to take down the whole power structure from the Assyrian all the way to the Edomite Empire. The Lord has to tear them down. All right. The Lord is not just coming for Esau. He's taking down the whole system. Right. Yeah. So you just take a good read, man. You could read from 38 to 44. All right. All the way down, man. All right. The Media, Persia, and Greece, the Romans, all that stuff. Yeah. And this is the final conclusion in verse 44. And in the days of these kings shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. All right. So ever since, when you look at that statue, it's always telling you one kingdom after the next kingdom, after the next kingdom, after the next kingdom. But this time around, only one kingdom is going to stand. That will be the kingdom of Israel. All right. And in the days of these kings shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people. All right. But it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and shall stand forever. So this is the point. This is the conclusion that we've all been waiting for. All right. So yeah, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, man. That's why you have verse 45. For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it breaketh in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold. See, the great power, all right, hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter. So the Lord has already told Nebuchadnezzar through his servant Daniel that his kingdom is going to fall, all right? That his kingdom will not be in dominion forever. It's going to be, let me not just say forever, but it's going to cut it short, all right? His kingdom will not be able to have that staying power like he always wanted to, right? Just because he was able to pass it on to his son doesn't mean it's going to last. That's why the Lord made it happen. The Lord has already told him, all right? Thereafter, all these other kingdoms are going to come up in power, but what's going to happen? The stone had to come crush all of them, all right? And the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof is true. So we come into the conclusion of this prophecy, all right? Daniel 2 and 45, you always mark that in your mind, write down a piece of paper, mark it in your scriptures. It's going to come to pass. So that's the time we're living in, man. The Lord has to set up the stage for this event to take place. Now we go to the book of Joel, all right? The book of Joel right here. Joel chapter 3. Now, if you can read the whole chapter, it's good. It's a good read. All right, see that. Verse 1. For behold, in those days, all right, this is a continuation of Daniel 2 and 44. All right. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I also, okay, so this is telling you about the preaching of the gospel, how people have to be awakened to who they are. That's how the men of the Lord are out there, and how His ambassador is preaching this gospel. All right, and what's going to happen when they start preaching the gospel? Then the Lord has to incite that spirit of war among the nations, and I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. All right, the valley of the Most High's judgment, Yahweh's judgment. I will plead with them, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. So the Lord has to come against the Babylonians because they had a hand in scattering of our people, scattering of the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. And the Persians were also part of it too, you know? Yeah. And then you also had the Greeks too. And then you also had the Romans. All right. So it led to the scattering. And then you also had Elam too. Elam had a hand in the scattering of our people. Moab also. Ishmael also. Ham also. All these nations, they're going to get it from the Lord. All right. Now we go to verse 9. It says, and I will sell, okay, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, make, all right, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Yeah, so that's just what it is. This is the time we're living in, man. So the Lord has to give the nations that spirit of war, the spirit of conflict, all right, to bring about his agenda. And then verse 10 says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hook into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. All right. So imagine all these small Arab nations, Elam, Ishmaelite nations, man, even Ham and Japheth saying, oh yeah, we're willing to get up in there too. Because it comes to a time when, when you have people that are not afraid to die in war, these are the type of people, you gotta be concerned about when you go to battle, folks that do not fear death. All right. So it's just part of it, man. Those are the warriors, man, that do not fear death. All right. So you can see the list of all the wars, man. The Russo-Polish wars, all right? The Russian Civil War. All right. Now, what else can we look at? Right. All right. So you have the Charcoal War. That's between Asher. All right. I looked into that. Got some some info on that prior to doing this lesson. Yeah, so yeah, so much to Korean War, the Algerian War, 1954 to 62. So this is Esau against Ishmael. All right, the Ishmaelites wanted independence from France. You know, Algerians, Arabs, man, from Algeria, they suffered a terrible loss at the hand of the French. All right, they have the Afghan War. Okay, war in Afghanistan, terrible. Yep. So you had the Russians up in there against the Afghan, the so-called warlords, man, that had the backing of the West. Yeah, so it just shows you exactly what you need to look into. Yeah, so they want you to subscribe. I guess they put a paywall on history. So like I always say, man, you gotta value the knowledge of history, man. Otherwise, you're just gonna be paying, paying and paying and paying. You gotta learn to study when you get a chance, man, before everything gets hidden or annexed away. All right. So that's just one point to look into, man. You read all the way down to verse 14. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord Yahweh is near in the valley of decision. All right. So it just shows you how terrible times the Lord is going to make it to be upon the face of the earth. All right. Yeah. So we go to the book of Second Ezra, uh, go to chapter 13, and then when you start reading from 25, it tells you exactly what you have to look forward to in the future. All right. This is the meaning. So when you continue from Daniel chapter 2, verse 44, link that with Joel chapter 3, the whole chapter. It's good. This is the meaning of the vision. Whereas thou sawest a man coming up from the midst of the sea. All right, that's the heavens. All right. The same is he whom Yahweh the highest hath kept a great season. All right. And you can read that here in Psalms chapter 110. All right. The Lord Yahweh said unto my Lord, sit thou at my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool. All right. The Lord shall send the rod of thy strength out of Zion. Rule thou in the midst of thine enemies. All right. So the Lord Amashak Yahushai is he whom the Lord has reserved for a great season, even before the beginning of time. All right. Which by his own self shall deliver his creature. And who's that creature? The nation of Israel. And he shall order them that are left behind, and that's the elect. Okay. And whereas thou sawest out of his mouth there came as a blast of wind and fire and storm. So the Lord Hamashiach Yahushua has to bring judgments upon the heathen, the valley of the Most High's decision. All right. Valley of Yahweh's path, and that he held neither sword nor any instrument of war, but that the rushing in of him destroyed the whole multitude that came to subdue him. This is the interpretation. All right. So that's just the point right there, man. The Lord has to allow these things to take place. All right. Now you can also switch to Psalms. All right, you could read Psalms chapter 89. All right. Psalms chapter 89. The whole chapter is good. All right. So this is what the Lord make known. All right. I will sing of the mercies of the Lord Yahweh, Bashim Ashai, Bashim Kakadash forever. With my mouth will I make known thy faithfulness to all generations, for I have said, mercy shall be built up forever. And that's what the Lord Amashak Yahushai is going to have upon his creature, the Israelites, all right, the elect. Thy faithfulness shall thou establish in the very heavens. All right. I have made a covenant with my chosen. I have sworn unto my, right? I have sworn unto David, my servant. Psalms 89:3. I have made a covenant with my chosen. I have sworn unto David, my servant. Thy seed will I establish forever and build up thy throne to all generations. All right. So the generations of all these nations, man, that want to be on top, it's almost over, man. This is the final line. This is the final conflict they're ever gonna have. The Lord's about to put a conclusion to all this chaos, man. All right, and the elites of Esau know it, man. They have all the records of all the wars, man. You know, they have it in their database. They have it in their database. So you can just imagine, just imagine doing some research. You just plug it in the system, boop, 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 boop. You get your printout, man, and then you start putting your strategy together. Yeah, so that's how well organized Esau has become when it comes to putting down information on wars. This not just one day. This takes several scholars, just like the Lord put His Spirit upon the scholars to work with Ezra. Yeah, the Lord put a spirit upon these historians to put this catalog of wars together. All right. Now we go into the book of Kings. All right. First Kings. Let's see what our forefather David. Let's look at chapter 1. This is what it said. All right. Verse 28. Then King David answered and said, call me Bathsheba. And she came into the king's presence and stood before the king. And the queen and the king sware and said, as the Lord Yahweh liveth, that hath redeemed my soul out of all distress, even as I swear unto thee by the Lord Yahweh, Bashim Ashai, Bashim Kakadash, the power of Israel, saying, assuredly Solomon, or Shalamar, thy son, shall reign after me. All right, that's what the Lord Yahweh promised our forefather David, that Solomon is going to take over from him, and he shall sit upon my throne in my stead. So, even so, will I certainly do this day. So that's just a confirmation of the oath the Lord made with our forefather David. So he is making that confirmation to his wife, Bathsheba. All right. So that's how beautiful this history the Lord has set before us. Okay. Now we shall look at Psalms chapter 2. This should be the final precept. All right. Psalms chapter 2 says this in verse 1. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? All right. So all these World Economic Forum, World Bank, or CFR, it's just a time of their end that we are witnessing. So they have to push everything as fast as they can to stir up the anxiety of the people and cause turmoil. All right, so they have to push for war so they could have the authority over the people. But the Lord is going to snatch their agenda out of their hand. That's a power of chaos that they have. The Lord is going to take it out of their hand and going to take it's going to he's going to use it against them. All right, the kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. So this is one of the secrets that they've been hiding. One of the main secrets of World War One, World War Two, and World War Three, because every war that they had was just a setup for the next one. And World War Three is what they want to have the perfect conclusion. That's why they're pushing the agenda of the MOTB. They're pushing the agenda of the jump shots. So it's just a matter of time that the Lord of Mashaki Awashai has to respond. All right. So the Lord of Mashaki Awashai has to respond. Now, verse 4 says, he that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. The Lord shall have them in derision. And how is the Lord going to have them in derision? The Lord of Mashaki Awashai has to make his grand entrance. He has to visit the battlefield. All right, the Lord Amashaki Awashai has to make his presence felt on the battlefield. That's why he's coming. All right, that's why you read Isaiah chapter 63. All right here. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Bozrah? See that? Edom from the house of Shem. All right. And then it says what? From Bozrah. That's a code word from America. Edom's code word from America also. All right. That is glorious in his apparel. All right. That's Yamashaki Al-Shai. Glorious in his apparel. All right. So he was fully decked for battle. Traveling in the greatness of his strength. All right. He had his whole armada of ships, of spaceships, of his chariots in the heavens. With his angels to bring chaos upon the heads of the enemies. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Yet wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine faff? So that's the Lord Amashaki Awashai, man. He has to bring astonishment. All right, and he shall come to astonishment, and he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth. Yeah, so it's gonna tear them apart, man, and one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another. And that's just how the Lord had set up the show. The Lord Yahweh set up the show for Hamashaki Awashai to come take dominion. All right. And it's going to be beautiful, man, to see the Lord Hamashaki Awashai bring his judgment. Oh boy, just read everything, man. Joel the third chapter, Psalms chapter 2, second Ezra chapter 13. Perfect read. Perfect read. All right. So that was the point that I can. That's as far as I would like to go. I don't want to prolong this lesson. Just keep it to a certain limit. All right. So you just understand, man. You gotta be aware. Majority of the wars upon the face of the earth has always involved the house of Shem, and the Lord has to overturn the power structures of this world, and that let our nation of Israel, under the power of the Lord Amashaki Awashai, to have that perfect, that perfect peace that we're looking for, the King of Peace. All right. So that's the point there. Go back to the book of Daniel, chapter 2, and scroll all the way down to verse 44. All right, Daniel 2:44. And in the days of this king shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left. All right, so the earth, all right, the kingdom, the earth is a kingdom, remember that. All right, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. And that's the power. Just like Moses had a serpent, swallow up all the other serpents of the Egyptians, the heathen. That's exactly what the Lord Yahweh is going to do with the appearance of the Lord Amashak Yahushai. So that's the point there. I can Baratazar, you've been edified, and hey, keep on studying, keep on walking with the Spirit of the Lord Amashak Yahushai in these days and times. Shalom.